Welcome to our CBNext live studio. This is Better You. I'm Pastor Nike. Now, I would like to first of all say thank you for all your comments and your emails on our Facebook page. I am very thankful to see that this show has been a blessing to you. And really, that's the purpose of the show. I want to make sure that we are sharing with you some biblical but practical tools to help you be the best that God wants you to be. So thank you again. Now, last time we shared some very interesting thought with Pastor Patrick from the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 10. And we spoke about the fact that the love of money was the root of all evil. And Pastor Patrick did clarify that it's not liking money that's the problem, or even wanting to have some. Actually, we do need money to accomplish what we are called to accomplish. But what he said is that when you love money, when you fall in love with money, when money becomes the thing that controls your life, then it becomes very unhealthy. So if you missed those previous shows, I really encourage you to go on our page. Just go to facebook.com/betteryou and you can view them. I truly believe it will be a blessing to you. Now, today I have the intention to take you to a deeper place where I want us to talk about something that I believe is very important. Now, let's reason for a second here. Has it ever happened to you, you're walking by a boutique or a car dealership or a watch store or a shoe store, and you see something and you're like, wow, I need to buy this. And at that very moment, you feel like you're going to have a heart attack unless you purchase that thing. Or you feel like at that moment, your life has no sense, no purpose, unless you purchase what you just saw. Has that happened to you? Now, most of us who will go through anything, we will do everything we can to get what we just saw. Right? Now, let me ask you a question. When you bought those shoes, ladies, that dress, sir, that house, that car, where is it today? I bet those shoes or that dress is probably now in your closet, right? You probably wore it a couple times and now it's just decorating your closet. Sir, that car, I'm sure you're still driving it, but then now you're complaining about how high the gas price is. Now what you thought you couldn't live with becomes a burden for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to suggest to you today that the world that we live in, or this society that we are living in, he's really telling us one message, that what you have is not enough. You need more. You need more. You just bought an iPad 1, now you have an iPad 2, and you feel like you are late. You need to go purchase it because you need a number 2, right? Today, I want us to talk about greed. Greed. We're going to talk about it. And I want to give you just a clear definition here from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It says, a selfish and excessive desire for more of something that is needed. Basically, what it means is that you are constantly seeking to have more of what you already have, or have more of what you need, right? Now, stay tuned. We're coming right back and we'll be talking with our guest today, and we'll find out whether you are greedy or not. Are you? Maybe, maybe not. Stay tuned. You're watching Better You. We'll be right back.
Shida kweli zinapita na mali chungu, mbovu nauliza twataka nini, wakati kilio ya maskini ukemtanisha furaha za wengine. Wataka nini nini tutarizisha shida zetu bila umoja, kweli shida pamoja pisha.
Welcome back to CBNext Live. This is Better You, and as I promised you, we are here with Pastor Patrick. Hello, Pastor Patrick.
Hello.
Right, and we'll be talking about greed. I was telling our dear friends today that the simple definition in the dictionary of greed is just the fact that we are constantly seeking for something that we need or that we have. So I wanted to share with you about a verse here in the Bible, and I'm reading from the NIV version in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 10. And it says, "Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless." So Pastor Patrick, what do you think about that verse?
I absolutely think that it's very true. In a sense, someone who's loving money always finds himself not having enough. And one thing that I can say very clearly is that as human beings in general, what we generally have is a feeling of not having enough. We're never satisfied with everything that we have. It doesn't matter how much you eat, how much you drink, you always end up being hungry again. You always end up being thirsty again. And so human nature in general, and the way that our God made us, is to have a sense of us that will never be fulfilled unless it is by Him. Now, the only person that is actually able to fulfill our every need to where we have enough of what we need is God Himself. Remember the story in the Bible about the woman who's at the well?
Yes.
And she's talking to Jesus, and Jesus actually speaks to her in a language to make her understand that He is the only one who's able to provide to her water from which she will never thirst again. And so I can very, very comfortably say that as human beings, it doesn't matter whether it's money, whether it's anything else. Every time that we try to fulfill ourselves with temporal things or temporary things, that they will never get to the point of fulfilling permanent things that we're looking for.
Wow. Thank you, Pastor Patrick. But are you saying that really, buying things doesn't fulfill us? Because I'm thinking I need that house. I'm thinking if I'm living in the right, neighborhood, if I have the right shoes or the right dress, and maybe there's a gentleman out there that's thinking if I have all those beautiful cars, that I will feel better about myself. So you are suggesting that what we can purchase really does not bring happiness to us. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, because everything on earth is temporary. Whether you buy your house several years from now, it will run down. The first day that you get into the house, you may like everything that you see, but a few years later, you may see somebody else's house that's a little bit bigger, that's a little well decorated, and so you want what they have. And we're constantly looking for that comfort place where we can say, yes, I've reached it. But the funny thing is that we actually never get to that point, because things always improve themselves. Things always get better. Every time we think that we've arrived to the very last version of a software program, there's a new version that comes out. Every time we think that we built the biggest house, you hear about somebody else having built a bigger house. Every time you decorate your house in a certain way that you think, well, this is the perfect thing, then you see that picture or that art piece that you want to incorporate into your decor because it's a lot better than what you have. And so it's a continuous search for satisfaction, which, again, we don't find unless we look towards God.
Wow. So, Pastor Patrick, the question is, how can someone know that they are greedy? Because nobody wants to admit, we're like, I'm not greedy. But, what are the signs in somebody's life that can tell you, well, maybe you are just a little bit? Can you help us with that?
That is a tough question. But I will say that greed, very much like pride, are run in the same family. And generally, when somebody is greedy, they're the very last person to know about it.
Wow.
Just like when you're proud, you're the very last person to know that you're proud. And you ask one of the signs that we can look to in order to be able to decipher whether we're greedy or not. And I will always say that whenever you have the ability to let go, not only what you have, but even your surplus, it proves to you that, yes, I am a charitable person and not greedy. Greedy people usually want more and more and more, and it doesn't matter how much they have. Even their surplus is hard to let go. And I'm reminded even of the story in the Bible when Jesus is approached by a young rich man, and the young rich man wants to follow Jesus, and he wants to walk with him, except now Jesus says to him, if only you can let go all your riches and give away everything that you have, then go ahead and follow me. But the issue is, whenever we're greedy, and we cannot let go even the things that we do not need. And when I talk about surplus, it's those things that you have for your personal satisfaction, but that you don't really need. And you can learn that I'm greedy by the fact that even the things that I don't use, I don't wear anymore, I don't look at this television anymore, I can give it away, but then I find it very difficult to give it away. That's greed to a certain extent.
Wow. So, is it possible to control it? I'm just wondering, because like, wow, then maybe we're a little greedy here. So is it possible to control it? And if yes, how? How do you control that?
It's very difficult. To be honest, it's very difficult to control that because, like I said, a lot of times we don't even notice that we're practicing greed or that we are greedy. But one thing that you can begin to exercise yourself is by giving to individuals who are in need. Whenever you know, and I talk about surplus a lot because these are extra things that you have. Begin to let go some of those things that you do not need in particular. Begin to not only satisfy yourself with buying things for yourself and acquiring things for yourself, but begin to also give to those who are in need. Begin to share with your friends. It doesn't always need to be with the needy. It can be a family member. It can be someone that you love and that you just give them something just to practice the fact that eventually somewhere in my life I need to be able to share the things that I have. And that greediness will begin to fall away because when we learn to give, then even like the Bible says, it's better to give than to receive. The satisfaction that you actually get from giving a lot of times is a lot better than receiving because when you can put a smile on somebody's face or you can make somebody happy about a place where they used to be and now they are in a different place because of what you've given to them, it's a lot satisfying to the heart. It's a lot satisfying to you as an individual.
Wow, thank you so much. Now, another question for you today here. How is self-control very important towards your financial freedom? Can you talk about that a little bit?
That is a very heavy word, self-control. And I like the way that you asked, Pastor Nike, because a lot of time when we talk about greed and money and all these areas, a lot of times a lot of people mention, how can I have a self or money management? And in reality, we do not control money or we don't manage money or anything else. We manage ourselves to be able to better manage the things that are around us. And so self-control, self-management, all in the same area are very crucial in our ability to be able to sustain the money that we have, the riches that we have, or the wealth that we have. And so I think it's one of the top keys because self-control will actually allow you to know whether, am I actually in need or is this a want that I have? And having that self-control, like you mentioned at the beginning of the show, buying that house and buying all these things, is it really something that you need or is it something that you want? And self-control and self-management will allow you to be able to balance all those things to better invest in the things that you need to invest into rather than the things that you simply want.
Okay, so if I understand, basically whenever you want to buy something or whenever you want to purchase something, you need to ask yourself the question, do I need this or do I want this?
Absolutely.
And I think if you can differentiate between the need and the want, it can really help you to get out of financial struggle. Do you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the difference between the need and the want is simply, can I live without this? Or is this thing crucial in my life? If I do not have this thing right now, is it really going to make that much of a difference in my everyday living? And that's where we differentiate need and want. Do I need water? or do I want water? Well, water is a natural thing that we need in order to survive on a daily basis. But then there are certain things that we simply don't necessarily need, but that we simply want. And sometimes it is okay to want and to get things that you want. But then, again, we go back to the word self-control, being able to know when to limit yourself and when to draw the line. When the want turns into greed,
Yes.
then it becomes dangerous for each and every one of us.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for your time today. I'm sure our precious friends here learned a lot. So I appreciate your time, Pastor Patrick.
Absolutely. Thank
Now,
you for your time.
thank you. Now, dear friends, whether you have just become financially responsible or maybe if you are immersed by debt, I will really advise you to seek God's wisdom. Seek God's wisdom and self-control to help you manage your finance properly and also help you get out of that financial difficulties. All right. Now, like I said, remember, whenever you are interested to buy something or you're interested to invest in something, just ask yourself the question, do I really need this right now or do I want this? In the closing of this edition of Better You on CBNext Live here, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. I'm Pastor
There's power in these blood.